here on First Things First. NBA champ Antoine Walker is here. What up, Twan?
What up, love?
How are you?
Good
to see
all
you.
Good.
That's better. Getting there. Getting there.
She ain't from Chicago, but we've tried to
She's
give her.
close. She's like south and over a little bit. We'll get to the Lakers in just a second. But first,
Chicago is on the map.
Nope.
Stop.
Nope. Just
Leave
let's
her
keep going. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
the cell phone.
Thank you. Wizards Suns. Jeff Green turned back the clock with the dunk on Dragon Bender.
And another one of those great Suns draft picks, the Dragon, gets boomed on. How old's Jeff Green now?
You need that, man.
Was Jeff Green a teammate of yours, Antoine?
No.
I mean, I got to check the records. Look, Jeff Green trying to get another contract.
Jeff Green was part of that original group in OKC, man.
Oh, you're right.
Forget about that. Yeah.
Warriors Grizzlies. Draymond Green unleashes the full court pass to KD for the buzzer-beating layup.
If Randy Moss was in the NBA, that's what he'd look like. Nice KD. Draymond, nice pass.
KD with the big game last night. That was nice.
Most efficient game of his career.
Goodness.
12 of 13 from the field.
It was an
Shout out to
offensive
KD.
clip.
Yep. He took one bad shot the entire game.
Same game. Scott Machado tosses the alley-oop to Alex Caruso, who brings it down hard.
Man, this might be the first balding white fella to catch an alley-oop in the NBA since integration. I mean, we don't see this very often in the league.
No, Lakers put a good G League team out there last night. That was a nice G League team.
Right.
It was nice to watch the little G League play.
I mean, they were in Utah. I thought they grabbed him from the stands. That is not my brother's Lakers.
Machado to Caruso.
All right, speaking of the Lakers, among their many needs this offseason would be a new head coach. All signs pointing to Luke Walton being let go after the season. Lakers reportedly have their sights set on that guy, Mavericks head coach Rick Carlisle. The issue there being Carlisle is under contract with Dallas until 2023. When asked about it, Mark Cuban said, "LOL, that's my quote." Anton, what's the most important quality in the Lakers' next head coach? What do you want to see him have?
You got to have a players coach for LeBron. I played for, Eric Spoelstra was the assistant coach in Miami. I know he's a players coach. He's a very big part of Dwayne Wade's development, Dwayne being the player that he is now. So it was an easy transition for him to be able to relate to LeBron. And then obviously T. Lue. You know the relationship that LeBron had with T. Lue. And I just think you cannot get I don't think a Rick Carlisle type of coach is what LeBron is looking for. I think he's looking for more of a players coach where he's going to have a lot of input on what they're running, the offense they're going to be able to run, have a little bit more control in the locker room. And I think if you go out and get a big name coach, that's not what LeBron is used to or he can relate to.
So I think that, listen, the Rick Carlisle thing's not going to happen, but let's stay here for a minute in regards to what you said. I think you are mostly correct. Where I will disagree is I think there are a select few coaches that aren't what you would call players coaches that LeBron would be 100% cool with.
Pop.
And Carlisle, Pop, Doc Rivers, guys that are so well established, champions in their own right, that they would have the immediate respect and attention of LeBron to be able to say, this is how we should do things. What you can't be is the David Blatt method, which is a non-players coach unproven, this is how we're going to do things, because why would I listen to you when you haven't shown me you know what you're doing?
The NBA is different than the NFL, but my experience has been that, especially when players get older, like later in my career, I was willing to go to St. Louis with Mike Martz, greatest show on turf. I would have loved to play for someone like Belichick. They weren't New England then, because of a great coach. He takes so much pressure off a really smart player. There's so many other things that their system accounts for that you don't have to account for. So if you want a player's coach and you have been and you're one of these great players and you have a high basketball IQ or football IQ, there's more work for you. You got more work every day that you have to do around the locker room and things like that. I just believe the way LeBron is right now, if he had the opportunity to coach, be coached by someone who he thought was special as far as basketball, I think he would be open for that. I don't think they have a whole bunch of options. So a lot of times when you don't have a whole bunch of options, what do you go to? You go to something that's familiar. You trust that more compared to trying something that's totally new. And that's where I believe that Ty Lue falls in that class as far as the Lakers hiring him. I believe he will be the next coach for the Lakers.
Hopefully he does. T. Lue's a good friend of mine, so I would love for T. Lue to get that opportunity. I think he's top on the list, but I think you got to put a couple other guys in that short list. I think Jason Kidd is another guy that could possibly get that job. I like Mark Jackson coming out the booth. potential to be possibly one of the guys too. He's a players coach too as well. But I play for Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is the ideal players coach. He's a guy that you can definitely relate to. He does very well with players. He done a terrific job with Paul, Ray, and Kevin as far as nursing their bodies and making sure that they were healthy at the end of the year. So that he would have been like a perfect coach. Rick Carlisle I don't know very well for me to pose a real strong opinion on him, but I just think for him to go through the dog years of Dallas, he's not going to give that up now. Now you got a couple stars.
Luka.
Yeah.
I know, that's why I say you got a couple players now.
Because you got players, you have a first-class organization. There is no questions about ownership. Do they know what they're doing? No questions about the front office. Like, Dallas is a great job.
I'm signed till 2023.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and
that's the other part of it. The Lakers.
that's all guaranteed too. Now.
And what the Lakers are going to do when they bring up these coaches that are under contract? You know how you get a coach that's under contract? He has to want to go there. The team has to be willing to let him go. But you got to trade something for him.
Yeah.
That draft pick is spoken for. It's supposed to be included in an Anthony Davis trade, not in a Rick Carlisle trade. Like, and Mark Cuban is not going to be outbid for his coach. And so I would really like to know where the Carlisle rumor came from. I tried to find out yesterday. I couldn't. I got stonewalled at every turn. Like, because it makes it really, to me, makes as much sense as floating pop out there.
Well, people could be reaching. I think obviously I'm a little biased, but I think T. Lue, if you really think about the ingredients that happen, LeBron's familiar with him. He knows how to coach LeBron. He knows how to deal with him on a day-to-day basis. If you look at when they won the championship, he made some great moves. The insertion of Dante Jones, Richard Jefferson. I mean, he's not scared to make big moves come playoff time. He's prepared for this moment, and I'm pretty sure he's a better coach now, even after having those years with LeBron.
Yeah, you make some great examples of Ty Lue. The adjustments that he made to give an undermanned Cleveland a chance in those games. When the system that he put in with LeBron too, I have a lot of respect for that because they were not the most talented in most series that they went into absent of LeBron James.
Antoine, there's a report out there, switching gears just a little bit, that the Lakers are concerned about LeBron's injury. Moving forward, I mean that he about his health, but based on the injury and the time that he spent off, how concerned should this team be about LeBron James?
I mean, it's year 16 going to 17. You should be very concerned. Obviously, his health is very important. You got a 3-year window that you're trying to bring a championship back to LA. Obviously, right now they're not making the playoffs, so you try to figure out not to play him the rest of the year, so you don't want anything to linger into the summer. I think this is going to be the first time where LeBron gets a chance to really work on his body and decide what way he wants to play at, what type of conditioning he wants to be in. He's got a couple extra months now to figure that out. He doesn't have to rush his process as far as in the summertime, as far as getting in shape. He gets to take his time, gets his hunger back. Believe me, watching the first round of the playoffs, the second round, he will be sitting there. He will be upset. This is 13 years this guy's been in the playoffs. This guy's won 8 straight finals. He will be upset. He'll be rejuvenated. So I think this will be great for him. I think you have to I think shutting them down is not the wrong thing to do.
We can't disregard the concern. Guy never been hurt. So we don't know how his body's going to respond to being hurt. We also don't, I think it'll be good, all this extra time off. We also don't know how his body's going to respond to an extra 2 months off that he hasn't had since he's been an adult, basically.
Right. I think that reaction is more positive. Like there's only people are crazy if they think that time off is a negative. I think that's a positive.
I think it's a positive as well. I just think he doesn't know the most productive way to use that time. Because that's the other part of it. Like he has had a method as far as what I do June 20th until the beginning of the season. Now that's going to start in 2 weeks from today is when his season ends, and maybe earlier. But the other element is people should know, LeBron, since his post-rookie year, the 3 worst years of his career, first year in Miami, first year back in Cleveland, first year with the Lakers. Now, maybe this year is the beginning of the decline of LeBron, or maybe it's also that he's never been as good his first year in a new place as he was in the years that followed.
All right, Antoine, see you a little bit later on. Coming up, have the Patriots found the heir apparent to Tom Brady? That's next on First Things First, head coach. What do you want to see him have?
You got to have a players coach for LeBron. I played for, Eric Spoelstra was the assistant coach in Miami. I know he's a players coach. He's a very big part of Dwayne Wade's development, Dwayne being the player that he is now. So it was an easy transition for him to be able to relate to LeBron. And then obviously T. Lue. You know the relationship that LeBron had with T. Lue. And I just think you cannot I don't think a Rick Carlisle type of coach is what LeBron is looking for. I think he's looking for more of a players coach where he's going to have a lot of input on what they're running, the offense they're going to be able to run, have a little bit more control in the locker room. And I think if you go out and get a